of others. We are bound together as never before. And this coming together provides us with unprecedented opportunity, but also makes us uniquely vulnerable. And the threat comes because in another part of our globe, there is shadow and darkness, where not all the world is free, where many millions suffer under brutal dictatorship, where a third of our planet lives in a poverty beyond anything even the poorest in our societies can imagine, and where a fanatical strain of religious extremism has arisen that is a mutation of the true and peaceful faith of Islam. And because in the combination of these afflictions, a new and deadly virus has emerged. The virus is terrorism, whose intent to inflict destruction. The spread of freedom is the best security for the free. It is our last line of defense and our first line of attack. And just as the terrorist seeks to divide humanity in hate, so we have to unify it around an idea, and that idea is liberty.
So in alchemy, all liberation is death. And everything is released by death. But in order to handle them, as Nicholas Flamel points out, you must kill the metals. You must actually perform in the physical state the death and resurrection of the metals. You kill the metals. You take copper, iron, tin, mercury. You take these and you learn how to absolutely destroy them. And when you have completely destroyed them, you have released by that means from them a universal essence which permeates them all. Then, if you know how, you can restore that pattern according to the element that you desire. But you cannot do it while iron is iron, or zinc is zinc, or copper is copper. It must first be reduced to a common denominator. And the discovery of the common denominator applies to many things. Today we have a problem in connection with common denominators. When we have Japanese and Chinese and Hindus and Greeks and Persians and Jews, we are never going to have Brotherhood of Man. We can't. But we can only have that Brotherhood of Man when we destroy the differences and discover the reality. We have got to go back and down through and remove all these layers of separateness and find the unity, and then build upon it. We will have one people. That's the same principle exactly as the alchemical experiment. We cannot take things and have various degrees of divine and synthesize them. You've got to reduce them to their basic principle. That's why we practically have to reduce the human being to extremity before you teach him anything.
But in all cases, to the same end, that the liberty we seek is not for some, but for all, for that is the only true path to victory in this struggle. Our new world rests on order. The danger is disorder, and in today's world, it can now spread like contagion. The terrorists and the states that support them don't have large armies or precision weapons. They don't need them. Their weapon is chaos.
Now, with this basic symbolism, we can see how the alchemist could proceed with certain mystical speculation. What other symbols immediately present themselves to our attention? We have to have the symbol of chaos. We have to have the symbol of the thing that must be overcome. Now, in another kind of alchemy, we can have monsters, griffins of all kinds. But your base substance, your purity, your corrupt material, from which all of these things are derived, must always represent crude matter, or its equivalent, crude, undeveloped consciousness within a living thing, this consciousness existing in a state of total ignorance. Therefore, in El Camus we have a monster, a strange lizard-like thing, not the salamander of fire, but a strange creature that lives in ooze and mud and corruption. A kind of a behemoth, a leviathan, that must be attacked by Murdoch and slain with the sword of light and will. The dragon of chaos.
The risk is that terrorism and states developing weapons of mass destruction come together. And when people say that risk is fanciful, I say we know the Taliban supported Al-Qaeda. We know Iraq under Saddam gave haven to and supported terrorists. We know there are states in the Middle East now actively funding and helping people who regard it as God's will in the act of suicide to take as many innocent lives with them on their way to God's judgment that can manipulate some of these states. I want to be very plain. This terrorism will not be defeated without peace in the Middle East between Israel and Palestine. Here it is that the poison is incubated. Here it is that the extremist is able to confuse in the mind of a frighteningly large number of people the case for a Palestinian state and the destruction of Israel, and to translate this, moreover, into a battle between East and West, Muslim, Jew, and Christian. We must never compromise the security of the state of Israel. What the President is doing in the Middle East is tough but right. And let me at this point thank the President for his support, and that of President Clinton before him, and the support of members of this Congress for our attempts to bring peace to Northern Ireland.
120 years after Christian Rosenkreuz's death at the advanced age of 106, one of the brethren discovered his tomb and his uncorrupted body. This was the signal for the Brotherhood to emerge and spread their message, hence the publication of the Fama. Their message, of course, was nothing less than the dawn of a new golden age. Aha! Now we're getting into some meat here. You've heard me discuss that on many occasions. The announcement of nothing less than the dawn of a new golden age. The Fama informs us that the Brotherhood possessed the keys to a secret knowledge, capable, listen very carefully to me, folks, capable of transforming society and ushering in a new era, one in which the world shall awake out of her heavy and drowsy sleep, and with an open heart, bareheaded and barefooted, shall merrily and joyfully meet the new arising sun. Remember I told you the secret is sometimes hidden in plain sight? Well, you just heard it. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the movement continued and is active today. Although today there are two branches. One which serves to sort of titillate the minds of those just maybe getting started in study of the occult secrets. And another one is a very serious group of builders indeed.
But precisely because the threat is new, it isn't obvious. It turns upside down our concepts of how we should act and when, and it crosses the frontiers of many nations. So just as it redefines our notions of security, so it must refine our notions of diplomacy. There is no more dangerous theory in international politics today than that we need to balance the power of America with other competitor powers, different poles around which nations gather. Such a theory may have made sense in 19th century Europe. It was perforce the position in the Cold War. Today, it is an anachronism, to be discarded like traditional theories of security. And it is dangerous because it is not rivalry, but partnership we need, a common will and a shared purpose in the face of a common threat.
What I'm suggesting is that an archaic revival needs to take place. And it seems to be well in hand in the form of the revival of goddess worship and shamanism and partnership. But notice that these things are old, 10,000 years or more old.